Tom, on reflection of Tuesday night's draw with Crawley, what have you kind of taken from the game looking back?
Yeah, some huge positives. Really pleased with back-to-back clean sheets. I think the sort of determination that the players showed, particularly towards the end of the game, to make sure that we carried those sort of defensive principles and structure continually really across the last two games has been a real plus. But also for the dominance we showed in early stages, particularly the first half, in terms of our counter pressing and dominating and turning the ball over higher up the pitch was also an excellent feature. So yeah, some real momentum and some real quality for us to take and apply to the game at the weekend.
Yeah, we spoke about it on Tuesday. On reflection again, can you see Saturday's game being fairly similar in terms of opposition, or have you kind of watched it back and kind of looked at areas where you believe you can hurt Shrewsbury?
Yeah, Shrewsbury game's going to be difficult. The sort of their contextual circumstances, obviously, change their manager, and it might mean that they come with a different style, a different formation, different players. You don't know. So it's about us being adaptable, us being able to really dominate the game with our style. And I think the important thing for us is we've shown some really core features of our game that have translated across the last few that we think can be implemented against them. And the core work this week will be about making sure that when we are on top, that we convert those opportunities that we do, so we can build a lead into the game.
Yeah, how hard does that make it for you? The fact that we don't currently know their managerial situation in terms of who's going to be in charge. How much does that kind of leave it a bit open-ended, and does it almost make you think more that we purely need to focus on us?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's about doubling down on our own processes, on our own style, and our own elements of the game that we know that need to be improved. And of course, we can look at some of their sort of historic footage and what they've done before and the features of the types of players that they've played. But ultimately, it is a bit of an enigma. You don't know what's going to happen. So it would just also need to be flexible. We need the players to recognise what their strategy is early and then have appropriate solutions for that.
Yeah, and in terms of reflection on ourselves, do you feel like you've worked out some of the areas that arguably on Tuesday night we didn't hurt the opposition enough that we can look to do on Saturday?
Yeah, certainly. We definitely thought that we turned the ball up higher up over the pitch. We were probably a bit disappointed with our use of the ball in some of those moments. Equally, we also look at some of the moments where we got in some really good positions and perhaps didn't have the level of support that we also would like. So yeah, definitely been working hard on that across the last few days on the training pitch.
Yeah, you mentioned how pleased you are as well with the defensive structure. Earlier in the season, especially, we're scoring goals a lot freely as well, despite conceding them at the other end. Is it about now trying to find that right mix and balance to get the success we need?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's about trying to impose our style enough that we can create high quality chances, but without leaving ourselves open for turnover moments. Ultimately, turnovers in games, transition moments, are the biggest threat for and against, and so it's about making sure we have a high volume of those for us and we really control those for the opposition. So I think if we can do that, we'll put ourselves in good stead to get a positive result.
Yeah, and obviously everyone knows the situation. I mean, we are 6 points adrift, but it's still relatively early in the season and lots of time to turn it around. Is it important that kind of the lads, because they do seem very relaxed still, smiley, happy on the training ground in such a good manner, how important is that, not feeling the pressure necessarily in terms of being able to go out there and perform? Yeah,
absolutely. Look, the players have real belief in what we're trying to do. They have belief in each other, and they have belief as a collective group that we can pick up positive results. That's never been in doubt. I think the important thing is that they operate with the right intensity. It's not to have a naiveness that we aren't in the situation that we're in. It's important that the players recognise that, work hard, and can understand that there is plenty more points to play for, but we have to do things right, and we have to do them right on a daily basis. And those things are positive habits that, if we can get those right on the training pitch, they'll translate into our match day as well.
Yeah, and in terms of you, Bray, and the rest of the coaching staff, how important is it that kind of you keep your focus? How do you feel you're kind of developing in such a short space of time into this role as such?
Yeah, look, I think the staff have been fantastic. Everybody has worked really hard with the group of players to ensure that we get as much positive results for the football club as we possibly can. I'm very fortunate with the staff group that we have. Is people who are very skilled, very very passionate, very hardworking, but also very experienced in this league, and that's translated, I think, into how we've ultimately combined to support the group over this period.
Yeah, and obviously we're not going to go too much into the kind of injury updates, but obviously like the likes of Dokes being back on the bench the other day. Now that you have got a much more of a fully fit squad, how much does that help in terms of being able to look at it and kind of analyse where we go and arguably what your best team is?
Yeah, hugely important. I think, you know, we recognise that every single player in the squad has a part to play, and that's important. You know, and we do think we've got good depth in this squad, and everybody is well connected to the team. And also, I think it's important that players recognise that they will be called upon at different times in different ways. And you know, we look at the schedule after the international break. There's a lot of fixtures, and that means that we'll have to rely on the whole squad. And the fact that people can come in, contribute to the level they have is a real asset to the team, but also for us to get positive results moving forward.